How are you? Yeah, let me try to do so I don't knock it off. If I tuck it in there, is that right? And I won't try to pinch it either.
Now you're seeing the DA, Larry Kreisner. He's going to be speaking with Neighborhood Bike Works. Now they are highlighting the work they're doing to help engage youth through bicycle ride programming, bicycle mechanics and repair, youth leadership opportunities, and much more. So let's listen in here on Live Now from Fox.
You might move with somebody on it. That person might be wearing a helmet, and that person might be me. That will be at the end of this press conference. I say this for the people who have to operate cameras. That bike with me on it might go out the front door, hopefully without running anyone over. That is the hope. Falling over, I don't mind, but running people over, that's not cool. All right, are we ready? Thank you all for being here today. This is the District Attorney's regular Monday morning press conference. As you know, on Mondays we do two things. The first is that we provide an update with reference to gun violence in the prior week. And the second is that we focus on an issue or a program or something else of significance that is worth taking a look.
All right, guys, and as I mentioned, we of course are going to be switching gears. Let's listen in live here on Live Now from Fox in Orlando.
Life. Our hearts continue to go out to Tyre Sampson's family, who are suffering this unimaginable loss. And I hope that everyone discussing or reporting on this investigation does so in a manner that will not cause the family any additional grief during this most difficult time. When we were last here discussing the department's investigation, we made it clear we were conducting a thorough investigation before jumping to any conclusions, as anything less would be unfair to the family. We also reiterated our commitment to conducting the investigation in a transparent manner. That is why we are here today. As you all know, at our previous press conference, we announced the department had hired a forensic engineer to assist with this investigation. Today, we are announcing that the Quest Engineering and Failure Analysis has finalized its field investigation report, which our department is making available via the online portal where we have been sharing other pertinent records relating to this incident and investigation. This report answers the question of what mechanically took place as our investigation now enters into the next phase of how and why it occurred, as we look towards potential penalties along with any changes of rules and regulations needed to help prevent future tragedies. This report confirmed our department's findings that the operator of the Orlando drop tower made manual adjustments to the ride, resulting in it being unsafe. The report confirms that manual adjustments had been made to the sensor for the seat in question that allowed the harness to restraint opening to be almost double that of the normal restraint opening range. These misadjustments allowed the safety lights to illuminate, improperly satisfying the ride's electronic safety mechanisms that allowed the ride to operate, even though Mr. Sampson was not properly secured in the seat. As noted in the report, there are many other potential contributing factors that may have played a role in the incident, and that is what our department is continuing to investigate. Given these outstanding concerns, the drop tower will remain closed indefinitely. While the initial phase of our investigation is complete, we are far from done, uncovering all of the facts and factors at play that are needed to inform of the next steps. Know that as soon as the full investigation is complete, we will immediately make changes to our rules if needed under our existing authorities, as well as pursue statutory changes with our legislative partners if necessary to help prevent future tragedies, which is why I'm so thankful once again to be here today with Representative Thompson. Now, I know you all have a lot of questions, as do we. which is why our work continues and why we will not be speaking to any hypotheticals or commenting any further until the investigation is complete. So as to do so would again be unfair to the family. We encourage those seeking further records or updates to continue to check the online folder where the Quest report can now be found for your review, as we're letting this report speak for itself and will not be taking any further questions on this report. The report is going to be in the online portal, so you all have opportunities to see the report. And as you all know, we will be back as soon as we get more information. We're going to make sure that we are transparent, we are accountable, and that we are taking this obviously very seriously. I had an opportunity to talk to the parents this morning. I made sure that they knew about what was happening at this press conference. So they were the first ones to know about the report, and now it should be in the Dropbox for you all to take. So thank you for your time today. We're not taking any questions today because we don't, outside of the report, we don't know anything else besides what's in the report.
Is that included in the report? Thank you so much.
You'll see the report.
Okay.
Thank you.
And as a legislator, I have reviewed our statute, and we know that the department is responsible for inspecting any amusement ride before a permit is issued. And what I want to do is to strengthen the requirement that if there is any adjustment, that would trigger another inspection and up to revocation of the license to operate the rides. Those are within the powers of the department. We know that the statute requires training, it requires insurance, it requires an annual inspection. So this is not a one-time kind of situation. And these adjustments were made that led to the unfortunate incident and the death of Tyre Sampson. So I'll be working on the Tyre Sampson bill and trying to figure out, as the commissioner has said, there are a lot of unanswered questions, but trying to figure out at what point those adjustments were made, who authorized them, were they reported to the department, as I said, to trigger another inspection. All of these questions have to be answered. I know that prior to the permit, prior to the inspection, the operator has to provide to the department the guidelines from the manufacturer. And if the manufacturer's guidelines stipulated a certain weight, the department would have known that before the permits were issued. So those are some of the kinds of things we want to look at in terms of Florida law to prevent this kind of accident from happening and the loss of life to another person. But thank you all for being here this afternoon.
Can you say whether these adjustments were outside of the manufacturer's guideline? I'm sorry for putting this on you, but we haven't had a chance to look at this report yet.
The manufacturer indicated that the maximum weight was 250 pounds, and Tyre Sampson weighed in excess of 300 pounds. So yes, this was outside of the manufacturer's guidelines. So whether it's due to training, lack of signage as the rider approached the ride, to be informed that if you're over this weight, you should not get on this ride. And so we want to answer all of those kind of questions, but we do know that the manufacturer's guidelines are provided to the department before the inspection and before a permit is issued.
What was your initial reaction when you heard what the commissioner just told us about this adjustment being made, that essentially it was the operator that did it, and basically this could have been prevented from how it sounds?
Well, I was very disturbed that those kind of adjustments would be made after inspection and after the permit is issued. And that's why I'm going to look at the law to say, we know, for example, if a ride is disassembled and it's moved, then that triggers another inspection. However, if this is a permanent ride and any kind of adjustment is made, that should be reported to the department, and that also would lead then to another inspection.
So the weights were adjusted after the permit was issued? Is that what your understanding of the situation?
That's what we're trying to determine. I don't believe that the department would issue a permit if these adjustments were made before the inspection, and they realized that it did not conform with the manufacturer's guidelines. So, again, we don't want to rush to judgment to make any kind of assumptions or conclusions. We want to make sure that, first of all, the manufacturer has an opportunity to provide evidence, and the operator has an opportunity to provide evidence. And I'm sure that those people will be subpoenaed and allowed an opportunity to provide input.
Representative, how is Tyre Sampson's family reacting? You're working on this bill, the Tyre Sampson bill alone. How is his family reacting to this news?
Well, as you might imagine, the family is in shock. You send your 14-year-old son away for spring break, and he does not return alive. So they're in shock, and I'm dealing primarily with their attorney, Ben Crump. I don't want to intrude on the family at this particular time. However, they are very concerned that this occurred, and primarily want to make sure that it doesn't happen to another child.
To your understanding, was it just one seat that was adjusted or every seat on this ride?
My understanding, it was seat 1 and seat 2 only that were adjusted, and presumably to allow for larger riders, which should not have happened based on the manufacturer's guidelines.
So you're under the impression this was a common practice, like it didn't just happen this night, it had happened on other nights with other riders?
My understanding is that the adjustments were made to seat 1 and seat 2, and therefore, if you had a larger person, they were assigned to seats 1 and seat 2.
Would you like to see this ride shut down permanently?
I believe that we really need to look at all of that, and there is a process for revocation of the permit. And if the permit is revoked, then it's going to be a 2-year period before the owner can apply for another permit. That's what we would like to see. But we want to be thorough, and as the commissioner said, to be transparent, to keep you all informed as this proceeds. But the investigation is not over. We have the engineer's report from Quest Engineering, but we don't have, in terms of the subpoenas that have been issued for the manufacturer, the operator, all of that. We don't yet have all of that information.
Representative Thompson, we received reports of operation manuals from FDAX for the sister rides owned by the same company next door, the two closest in proximity to the drop tower ride. And according to the manual, certain signage should be posted at
Yes.
the entrance of the ride, right? Now, in our investigation, we found that there was some signage posted, but there was also not signage that was supposed to be posted per the manual. Do you know if those rides are also under investigation by FDAX?
I think we have a representative from FDAX who is here.
We can follow up with you on that.
Okay.
Can we answer that question today, though, since we're all here?
I'm not sure where we're going.
Mr. Kimsey? We did an investigation looking at manuals that FDAX was in possession of. They were provided by the ride manufacturer as a result of the permitting process. We checked the two closest rides that were owned by the same same company, so sister rides, if you will. According to state law and state rule, as we all know, if the manufacturer suggests that requirements be posted at the entrance of the ride, then it should be posted. Now, in the manuals, there were requirements. When we looked on site, some of those things were posted, but others were not. Can you tell me if those sister rides are also under investigation by FDAX, knowing that some of the signage might not meet the requirements as provided by state rule and state law?
I'd have to check with my team to see if there's a current investigation going on in my division, and I can get that information back to you.
Do you guys investigate instances based on complaints or tips, or can you tell me a little bit about that process?
Yes, any complaint that's given to the department is fully investigated.
Thank you very much.
Have you guys spoken to any of the employees that were running that ride that night? If they followed the rules, if they noticed he may have been over the weight limit, is there stuff they could have taken?
That's part of our investigation. We're not going to comment on.
Are you able to say who manipulated the seat, who adjusted it? Like, do we know, was it a ride operator, a technician?
we're not gonna get into the speculation part of it.
Everyone should just look at the report that's in the Dropbox now, and if you have questions after reviewing the report, you can send them to our comms inbox, and we'll do our best to answer everything.
Would it be possible to keep y'all around for about 10 minutes so we can look through this?
I think it would be best if you followed up via email.
Do you think this will be the gateway in ensuring that all rides have weight limits and that they're actually adhered to?
I think that this is an opportunity for all amusement ride operators to look at their practices and their procedures, and I am reaching out to bring all of those individuals together because all of us have a stake in this. And if the signage was not there, we've got to bring uniformity. We've got to make sure that all ride operators follow the law and follow the rules. So this does open the door for now closer scrutiny of all amusement rides, whether we're talking about bungee jumping or helicopter rides or whatever it might be.
Representative Thompson, going off of that last portion, when you talk about more oversight, more regulation for these rides, I know despite the obvious, why now for this push, this call for those changes?
Unfortunately, it sometimes takes something like this to be the wake-up call to say you can't just allow people to operate without oversight. And so this is the tipping point that now requires us to come back to the table to say we need to strengthen these laws and to give the department more responsibility and more authority in terms of oversight. The operators also pay into a fund, and so this is another time when we want to look at that and make sure that it's adequate to do the inspections that are needed.
Representative, can you tell us now, based on the investigation, what kind of legislative changes you might propose in the Tyre Sampson bill?
Well, until we get the information back based on the subpoenas that have been issued, it would be difficult to say, but I do know that I will be looking at the portion of the bill related to training. I will certainly be looking at the bill, the portion that pertains to signage, inspections. Anytime you make an adjustment after an inspection and after a permit, that has to be reported to the department.
Okay, last question.
Any time frame
Do
when
you
this
know
rubber stamp will be put?
who adjusted the seat?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Is it in the report who made the adjustments?
Slingshot or another rides, it's gonna be an oversight and other rides owner by a Slingshot group?
Are you referring to the department?
Yeah, regarding the investigation, I know Slingshot owns another rides in this Florida. You're gonna look over these rides also?
The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services has the responsibility now to oversee amusement rides. And I believe some of these rules and regulations need to be tightened up for all amusement ride owners and operators.
Representative
Okay, thank
Thompson,
you,
knowing that
everyone.
there were
Last
some
question.
adjustments made to this ride, are you fearful that this company has done this to other rides that people are still currently riding on because they're still open?
I am concerned with any operator that makes adjustments after an inspection and after a permit is issued. That should have been reported to the department, and it should have meant then that there is a re-inspection and before the owner operator is allowed to actually operate the ride, there needs to be greater scrutiny.
Okay, again, we have the report in Dropbox for review. We're going to let the report speak for itself, and we will not be taking any more questions about the report here today.
But as
Thank
far
you
as
so
the next
much.
steps, when will it all be done, the how and why?
We are working on that now. Again, we wanted to provide this just to be totally transparent. This is still an ongoing investigation. These are our preliminary results, and it will be ongoing. We'll be in communication with you all when we have more information.
And thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
A very sad update here as, again, that 14